Live from New York, it's Tesla Model 3. As you know, earlier this week, Tesla went on a bit of a, they got into politics of the state of New York in a very unusual way. They took the Model 3 on tour around the state. And the reason for that is that New York is limiting right now, the state of New York, limiting Tesla right now to only 5 locations, okay? This is one of those states that didn't really do a kind of full ban on Tesla sales, but didn't just allow them to go on like unlimited, right? So they limited them to 5 showrooms. Well, now there's a bill that's kind of being considered by their lawmakers that will expand it all the way to 20, which Tesla really wants to do. And instead of sending lobbyists like pretty much any other company would, I'm sure they've done that as well, but they actually send out their cars. And what they did is they created a bunch of events around the state and invited a bunch of people to get excited about it, but also go and call their congressman or wherever to ask them to support the bill. It's a very interesting strategy, kind of like how toy companies sell toys to kids, right? They don't really sell the toys to parents, right? They get the kids excited about it, and then the kids do all the sales work by basically nagging their parents into buying the toys. So that's kind of a pretty winning strategy if you ask me. So Tesla decided to get everybody in New York excited about their cars and then have them go and lobby their lawmakers to make this happen. So that's pretty cool. Now, these events happen throughout the week, and which brings me to a segment that we've done before. Not often enough we do this, so everybody take note. But a viewer report is when of you guys report from the location of the event. And so for this event, we got who better to report for us from New York is our regular Gary in New York. His hand. Gary, let us know if you're here in the chat room right now. But he put together a quick report for us from one of the events in the capital of New York, which is not New York. It's actually Albany. I don't think too many people know about it. So here we go.
This week, Tesla introduced the Model 3 to owners and reservation holders across upstate New York. The first event was held at the Empire State Plaza in Albany, the state capital. Owners and reservation holders had the opportunity to see the EV in person, and Tesla had the opportunity to lobby attendees for support of legislation favorable to their presence in New York State. This legislation would allow Tesla a total of 20 store locations statewide. Currently, they are limited to 5 downstate locations.
My name is Will Nicholas. I'm here with Tesla. We're just wrapping up on what I'd say is a successful first event on our Model 3 road trip upstate in New York. We're inviting folks that have reservations down for Model 3, that are fans of the company, that want to learn more about electric mobility and the sustainable energy products that we build here in New York, out in Buffalo. We're also driving awareness towards legislation that we're supporting here in Albany that would allow Tesla to further invest in the state and open up 15 additional locations, 5 of them being upstate in Hudson Valley, Albany, Rochester, Syracuse, and Buffalo. But I think the state has signaled that driving electric vehicle adoption, reducing emissions, and expanding the infrastructure that will support it all is very important to its constituents and residents, and Tesla wants to play a big part in that. So we're truly humbled by the amount of interest and enthusiasm that we have for these products and for this cause, and so we're excited that everyone's on the mission with us.
The Model S and X accompanied the Model 3, and all were open to be explored. The line to have a seat in the Model 3 was about 45 minutes long. Attendees could electronically sign a petition on one of several computer workstations or by texting to a designated number. Additional stops on this tour will be in Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo. Reporting from the Empire State Plaza in Albany, this is Gary in New York. This week, Tesla introduced the...
Thank you, Gary, for this awesome report. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's definitely really cool to just kind of see how it happened. Now, this picture was also taken by, I got it from Kristen. Chris B is his username here in the chat room. Let us know if you're here, Kristen. But he also sent a bunch of pictures from another location in Syracuse. And so this is one of their gathering. As you can see, it was kind of more of an outside. And here's the entrance. This is the way how, I guess, rest of it. I mean, everything looks pretty classy, right? You got RSVP'd and you check in at the entrance. They had the obviously Model 3 and a Model X and Model S next to them. So he was saying how they also had computers there, so you can submit a petition and sign a letter for the one of their lawmakers to support one of these locations, or actually all of them, really. So here's more pictures. Here's a wider shot of the Model X with the Model 3 in the background. Oh, I think it's Model S. Anyway, so thank you for sending those pictures, Kristen. Also, it looks like it was a very classy event. The people from Tesla who were there were, very open about why they're doing it, why they're getting everybody excited. And it's definitely making sure that there's it was very much understood what the call to action was, and which is to talk to the people there. So as you can see, there were computers and you can fill out the form there. I think you could also text to some phone number to be able to sort of kind of digitally sign a petition. So everything was really, really cool. And this is something that I really, really like, guys, for my viewers, really, for you guys to report on location about this type of events. This is a really interesting strategy that Tesla has taken. I hope they get the bill passed. And so from what I understand, most of their showrooms are concentrated on catering mainly to the New York crowd, the city of New York, and they want to spread out. So of course, this is definitely something that a very, very interesting proposal. So thank you, Gary, and thank you for Kristen for sending this in. If you guys have something interesting going on in your area, Tesla or not Tesla related, if you want to talk about something you've noticed with your car or whatever, send it in, and I would love to feature this on my show, because this show, as you guys see, is all about our community together. That's why I always make sure there's a chat going on here. Sean in the chat room says, this is my first time watching you live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Always great to have somebody who is in here for the first time. Coral says, Alex, did Nevada state pass laws this week on driverless cars? No, I don't know. I know that California just enacted the DMV regulations for the driverless cars. Do you have a green screen behind you? Says Sean. Well, yeah, I rarely just sit in front of this beautiful night. It's day here right now, city line behind me. So yeah, I gotta use a green screen. So Zubair Ahmed says, I got an idea. How about an existing Tesla owner order a Model 3 for his friend, get in 2 months, then hand over to his friend. This way a non-existing owner can get a Model 3 in 2 months overall. Actually, there's even an easier way. You can you're gonna have to check with your state, obviously, but you can register the car together, and then one of you can remove your name, so therefore you're kind of handing it over. You obviously want to check with Tesla and make sure that they're okay with it, but I've seen people do that in the past, so definitely make sure to do that. By the way, let me remind you guys that this channel and this video is sponsored by Avanex, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla. And I should remember to turn my phone on silent before doing this. I've only been doing it for God knows how long. Yeah, there's a discount code in the description of this video in case if you want to save a few bucks when you shop there. So have at it. All right, in other news, Mercedes-Benz, as you know, they're ramping up to finally release their very first all-electric cars. It's going to be part of the EQ series. It's EQC, it's an SUV. As you can see, they've been testing it in Sweden. This week, they released a few pictures. We've seen very similar pictures in camouflage with the Jaguar I-Pace that's being revealed pretty much now, and everyone's excited about that. So it's Mercedes-Benz's turn. Now, this car is still about a year away from production, but nevertheless, they've been putting a lot of effort and a lot of money into this. So they're testing it. It's very obviously important to test it in colder climates, and so that's been a kind of a standard procedure at this point. So they've been doing this. The car's going to have about a 250-mile range, give or take. So it's going to be another very legitimate competitor to Tesla and just in general to gas cars. So very excited. What phone do I have? Says Sean. Hold on, Sean. Let me do the car thing first. But I have a Pixel XL actually. But nevertheless, I should probably put it on silent. All right, Curious Sam, I'm just gonna have to ban you at this point. There you go. All right, now let me move on to another story. And by the way, if you're enjoying this live feed and this channel, please give it a thumbs up. Always makes it do much better in after I repost it for those who want to see it in replay. Another very interesting story comes from Rome. The historic center of Rome is going to ban all diesel cars from there by 2024. Now we've heard of, you know, states and countries are looking to ban all gas-powered cars from, you know, sales, you know, in the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. But in this case, the city is banning diesel cars from their historic center for the reasons because the pollution is so bad that it's literally destroying the actual pieces, the actual historic pieces that they have there. So they are going to fight that and they're going to ban it for those reasons. So again, not a huge scale, obviously. It's just diesel cars in a tiny little part of the world, but this just tells you that there are more and more stories. It's a more acceptable fact that diesel fumes and gas fumes in general are bad and people don't want them. So this is once again showing that this whole electric car revolution is really moving forward, and there is just no stopping it. So I really think that this is great news coming out from Rome. Now, by the way, just wanted to say thank you. I got a couple of more Patreons in this week. Thank you for supporting the show. If you are interested in supporting the show, go ahead and browse in the description of this video. There's a link to my Patreon page. I post behind the scenes stuff. I post some of the exclusive content. This week I posted a video of my very first YouTube video. Yes, this is a still from it. It was a commercial from the mobile app for Android that I've created back in the day and created. Look how young I look, and look how almost no gray hair I had back then. Anyway, that was a fun time. All right, next story. As you know, remember yesterday we did a story about Porsche that's announced that they're going to have their own fast charging networks here in the United States in their Porsche dealerships. So basically, it's actually going to be located, which makes sense, right? And in Europe, they're already part of it. They invested, you know, Volkswagen Group, their parent company, invested in the fast charging networks that are spreading in Europe. But here in the United States, they're kind of the only other company except for Tesla that came up with this sort of their own charging network. Well, now they're talking smack. They're actually talking smack, and they're saying how their Porsche Mission E, the new car that they're just about to come up with in the beginning of the next year, is going to be better than Tesla. And, you know, it would be all good, except for that wasn't very true what they said. They basically said that Tesla can only go 0 to 60, you know, only like once or twice, and after that it's just going to fail because of the performance issues. It's also said that the Tesla cannot maintain a high speed for too long, especially if you sort of go on an Autobahn in Germany. So the first part is just definitely not true because, you know, there are videos out there of people doing that. Now, it could have been true before Tesla had this option for you to remove the software limitations. You can now push your Tesla all the way to hardware limitations, and that's why it's available there. So that's not true. But yes, Tesla does have, you know, all electric cars are going to have to struggle with this. You know, if you're really jamming down the highway or Autobahn at a very high speed, the performance in the battery will, of course, degrade. With that, I'm sure it's going to get better, but we also don't know if Porsche is actually going to be able to do that. You know, they don't have that many specs out. The car is still about a year away from production. So really, we don't even know what they're claiming is true, but what Tesla has right now, we can test it. So again, just like with the Mercedes the other day, you know, I would just stick to producing the best car you can, appealing to your audience, and talking less smack about Tesla, especially if you either don't understand or don't know something about it, or don't have anything to prove just yet. So I would be very cautious. I'm excited about Porsche Mission E coming in, but I hope they do it with class and if anything, have a better way how they're going to compete with Tesla rather than just smack talking. All right, guys, so we had a view report earlier today, which was awesome from Gary. Now we're going to move on to a very similar thing that we do every show, comment of the day. This one is coming from Marcus, and he is referring to the semi-truck video that was sort of spotted on the way from Fremont Factory to Gigafactory in Nevada. And he says, did you see that? There are side rear view mirrors. As you can see, indeed there is. Unlike the couple of the ones shown at the unveiling, I imagine that's because it has to have it to be able to drive in the real world, and that's correct. And I kind of forgot to mention it. As you can see, well, in the unveiling event, it didn't have any mirrors. So obviously, it just had little cameras on the side. Well, it's not legal to drive with cameras on the side here in California. I don't really think in any state right now. So they had to actually put on the mirrors so it's legal to drive. So it's a good observation, something I forgot, but nevertheless, thank you so much, Marcus, for contributing the question. Once again, I try to answer. I definitely read every single comment, but try to answer as many of them as possible. All right, guys, tomorrow at 11 a.m. once again, we're going to meet here. Now, next week, I'm going to have 2 or 3 days when I'm going to go live in the evening. Anywhere, I'll let you know, but probably around 8 or 9 Pacific time p.m. So just because of some other things that I got going on, but also so some people who don't have a chance to participate live can do that, and hopefully we'll have some good time with them as well. Other than that, guys, this has been fun. There's so many news coming out tomorrow. Don't forget to submit your video reports or pictures if you have something to share with my audience. I would love to feature that. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged.